Okay, welcome to my channel. Go to your Git and type look for top right, I guess, yeah, creating new repo, and then you type the name of the repo as you can see on my screen, and then click OK. Down, scroll down, and then click OK. And that repo is created. That's what it means, meaning a folder where your employer is wanting to view all you're going to be working on, and for the rest 28 to 30 days, that's where all your submissions are going to be. So you are expected to make a copy of that folder in your computer, and that is what we call cloning. So, and in order to clone, what do? You get to your terminal, open your terminal, and you type git clone. But remember, your employer gives some steps that you're supposed to use to solve. He said go to git config global credential.helper store. You are supposed to type your username and password later, so this will help you store your information. Basically, that's what git config -- global credential.helper store will do for you. Then you can then add your username and then your what do you call it now, your email, your username and email, which it's going to be stored for subsequent whether you are pulling or pushing of your files into the repo or out of the repo. This can be done. So I'm typing, in this case, my own username and my user email just to guide you, but in your case, I guess you should be using your own. You should know that by now. Then you are expecting, the next thing that you need to do is to clone, and in cloning you go back to your Git environment, you open the cloned repo and copy the URL to your repo. Then you come back to your terminal, and then you type git clone, paste the URL as you can see me doing. In this case, I have this repo before, so on my system, so I need to delete it for you not to be misguided. So I'm deleting the one I've done before, and then since it's deleted, I'll go back to my terminal and then clone it properly. Git clone again, the URL, hit the enter button. At this point you will see that cloning is cloning into Piscine. So that's one basic thing that will happen over and over and over and over again as you go on with this project, because you will need to clone, do your work, and then push it back to your repo. That will allow your either your employer, your collaborator, anybody in essence that you are giving permission to have access, so that they can have access to that. So you can now confirm that from my folder I have created Piscine again. So at this point I need to enter my username again. Remember, you have created a platform that this username and password. So it's asking for my username, and I'm using my username. In your own case, you use your username, okay? And then you create your token, and in order to create your token in Git, all you need to do is hover to your profile, click on it, and on the down displayed button, rather, or on the floating buttons, you see settings, you move to applications to the right. Okay, when you get to applications to the right, you will see step to generate your own token. And in order to generate your token, you type the name you want your token to be known by. Once you type that, you are expected to copy the token, and or before then you have to authorize who may be having one permission or the other to do one or two things. So you are going to give permission. Basically, in this case, we're giving the rights to whoever is going to be accessing it with a read write file. Okay, so meaning the person will be able to type something in or make an adjustment as the case may be. So when you give that permission, you are going to click on, I think, generate token or something. Once you click on that, your token will be generated. And once your token is generated, what you are expected to do is to copy the token and back to your terminal. Once you're back in your terminal, you are going to paste it there. Okay, so as you can see, and once you do that, you wait depending on the speed of your system basically, and voila, you just see that the repo is being cloned, and you can see from the information there is saying the repo you might have created is empty. Of course, it should be empty because we've not added anything into that repo. So the repo is more like a folder that's in the cloud. So we are now bringing it into your computer system, and by cloning that, it's in your computer system, and then you have to list the file. That's why I'm typing ls at this point. And when you list the file, you discover that Piscine Go has been created, and I need to change directory to that folder basically on my computer, and that's what I just did with the command cd Piscine Go. Now you can see that my path for my file has changed to Piscine Go git. What does that mean? When I list it, of course there should be nothing showing in there basically. So I need to create a file in the Piscine Go as instructed. So if you look at it, so I need to nano sh dot, so working in terminal here in Linux terminal or bash generally, you have to nano it. Okay, so nano is one word for creating the name of a file, like saying create. So in this case the file is hello.sh, and that's what I just created. Now in this environment, it opens me to the environment where I can actually write my code. And in order to write your first code, you're going to type the hash sign. Yeah, the hash sign apostrophe /bin/bash. That creates the space for you to start writing. It's more like a rule if you are going to be creating a shell file. Okay, so you echo. Your echo simply means you saying this is more like the entry point for my program, or this is like printing. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Okay, like you're saying printing something in the shell environment or in creating a shell file in bash. You are supposed to instead of saying print, you're going to say echo, and then in quote you're going to put what you're expected to type, in this case hello, and then your username. Okay, and in this case this is my username, should be your own username basically. Okay, then you proceed to type in the file, and once you do that, what you need to do, very very important, if you need to save your file, although I type it in a little bit in a more detailed way for you, if you're in this environment, you have to press Ctrl plus O, saves whatever you are doing control plus O, then you hit the enter button. That saves your file or the content of your file to the file you have created, and then control plus X, not S, but X will exit you from that environment and return you back to your regular terminal that you are familiar with. So at this point, you have actually created your program. It's time to test. And from the instruction, once you type bash hello.sh, that's the file we've created, it should be able to display to us what is inside. And in this case, it's just hello and my username. All right, so that's your first file you've created. So at this point, you have achieved your first code. Bravo. So the point here is for you to understand how to use a terminal to code, and after coding you need to save, and then you need to push them back into your repo. This is what you are going to be doing. Okay, so the next step we have now that you can see it display in your terminal, the next thing you need to do is to actually push it into your repo. And in order to do that, it's also very easy. You are going to be, if you look at the assignment or the task, you will see that in order to achieve that, you need to add that file. So to do that, you say git add the name of that file. Okay, in this case hello.sh. The next thing, you need to make a commit. Okay, like send a commit message as to what you have done on that file. Should anything change, you also update. So like, Git's one of the primary reasons for Git is for version controls. As you write your file, you update it, and all of those. This commit message will help you know where you start, where you're going, and where you are, basically. So take note of that. So the reason why you are making your first commit message, and from the assignment, you have to type my very first commit, and that's what I copied from your assignment environment, and now I'm pasting it here. The last thing I'm going to do is to push. So 3 things happen: you add, you commit, then you push. You're going to be doing this over and over again, and it will become second nature to you. So at this point, you have your program running. So if you check inside the folder, we have our hello.sh, and then when you go into your repo, that's on your computer or your desktop, you will see the file. And also confirm that you can see it in your repo by going to your git environment and opening your, is it opening now, or navigating to your Piscine Go folder, and I'm very sure you will see your first commit there and the message you have in there. So congratulations for this giant feat of your first program. I hope this helped. If it does, kindly subscribe for more. Okay, I'm using this channel only because of you as a learner. Okay, feel free to share with other people. If you have more questions, just leave it to me as a chat. I'm going to respond to them, and it will encourage me to do more.